Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Esports Masters League. We are here tonight for Premier 1. It is round 4 of the championship as we take in the Belgian Grand Prix, of course, sponsored by Next Level Racing at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking you to the stream, hopefully with a full voice here tonight, of course, on a Wednesday. And joining me in the comment box, as always, it is Mr. Ivan Tonchik. Ivan, how you doing?
Good evening to you, James and Terry on the stream. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Hopefully everyone on the stream, including you, does as well. Yeah, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps round. I think it's round 4 of the championship in EML. Yeah, after 1 week of going to a little bit of rest for EML Mayhem, we are back here on the legendary circuit in the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, 7 kilometers long run through the Ardennes Forest. So many iconic moments in the league racing and in racing in general happen on this track. And personally, one of my favorites here. And let's see how it goes.
Of course, famous for the "Here comes Sebastian Vettel" moment in 2018, where drivers went full wide in towards they come. No, was it?
Also, Hakin and Zonta in 2001, I think.
It was. Yeah, and then Sebastian Vettel obviously down in towards the come full wide, as I was saying there, in terms of racing out on track. So obviously he has got a rich history. That is the wrong graphic that I'm trying to show. We have got, though, the standings coming into tonight for Premier 1. NLR lead the way on 104 points. FVR, who've just recently taken the lead and extended their lead in the Shizou Racing Championship, they're in second on 97 points. ET8 in there on third on 96 points, and then Team Relentless in fourth on 64. That is not, by the way, a new graphic or a new team that has joined. RSC have changed their name, and it's now Team Ace, and they are in 5th on 58 points. GSP Esports in 6th on 54, QRT in 7th on 53, FRL in 8th on 42, LFR 9th on 36, and VIR in 10th on 29 points, currently in the drop zone. Can report, though, 15 drivers have joined the lobby, which is really good indeed. NLR, the leading by 7 points over FVR, 8 points over ET8, getting quite close for the top 3, I think.
Yeah, this season has been really close in every race, apart, I will say, from Bahrain and Hungary, where, at least in terms of the winner, but it was really exciting season until this point, and hopefully this will continue. Maybe NLR is quite a little bit of a surprise to be on top. Obviously, we know it's a really good team, but I don't think anyone expected them to be on top this early in the season.
Yeah, definitely not. I think they've been very consistent, let's just say, and I think consistency is the key, or has been the key so far in EML Premier 1. And so far, so good for NLR, I think, in terms of their performances. They've got Garufo and Axelino once again here tonight in terms of their lineup. And speaking of the lineup, you got a quick glimpse of it at the start of the stream and a quick glimpse on the wrong graphic that I showed a little bit there earlier on. But Urpek and Catterson, former FRL driver, in for ET8, which is going to be interesting. Now, of course, in the Red Bull, Mercedes represented by Jeroen and Slash. And then we've got in the McLarens, Payne and Maritz for GSP. For VIR in the Aston Martins, we've got Atlas and Marlon. In the Alpine, we were due to have Taze Leroy alongside Bombastic. However, Justbrand is in there as their reserve, or as their second driver tonight, stepping up from reserve. There's Bombastic and Justbrand there in the Alpines for QRT. Nuth and Karofalidis, potentially the favourites coming into tonight for the Ferrari team, of course, for FVR. And then YCN and Tom in for RAC, Team Ace, whatever you like to call them. We're going to call them Team Ace, though, given that's their new full name. NLR represented by Axelino and Garufo. A late change as well for FRL. They've got Saru and Michalitzi in. Kyle Scarrett was due to be their reserve. He was unavailable, so Michalitzi's in as a very late reserve. Maybe a penalty potentially coming their way, as Keki and Ruti are in for LFR, of course, and they're in the Haas team, of course, out on track. We were talking before we started the stream. Ivan, I was going to call you Evan again for some reason, because I was commentating with Mr. Evan Dalton last night. But Nathan Karaflidis, surely once again, the team to beat for FBR.
Yeah, but even the let's say Goliaths, when it comes to EML and esports teams in general, fell apart. When it comes to teams in this competition, have their weaknesses. We saw that at Canada, where even with all of the difficulties, I think Vicente got podium in all of that mayhem. But yeah, well, FVR, I will say they are again favorites, a team to beat here. But well, I can guarantee you there's no FVR bias here in this commentary box. But yeah, we'll see what will happen.
Yeah, we will indeed see what will happen, I think, out on track. That is for sure. Hopefully it is going to be really good in terms of the action as well. I have been informed by our head steward from EML, Mr. Tom Zaggers, Mr. Honey Badger. He is saying that GSP have asked for 5-minute delay in terms of joining the lobby, as I have accidentally just muted myself, so apologies about that if you did hear that noise. But GSP have asked for a delay, told them max till 8:05. So that is around 3.5 minutes or so they've got to join the lobby. They are missing one of their drivers. I'm going to say it is going to be Payne. I think they are missing. Maybe internet being a pain. Unfortunately, that's the best I've got, I think, for GSP in terms of my puns here tonight. Looking through the rest of the lineup, though, I touched on LFR potentially to be quite good, quite up there here tonight in Belgium. Keki, I know, isn't as quick as Ruti around here. Ruti has won around here in Belgium before. I believe he won, I don't think it was in PSGL. It was a league that I certainly covered. I think it was FRL. And Ruti won around there. How do you rate their chances coming into tonight?
LFR, I won't rate anything because I rarely rate those guys. I think I never raise them, to be honest. And when I don't know their pace or how good they are at some track, it doesn't make sense to for me to just waffle around and try to be smart here when I clearly don't have a clue how good they can be, and I'll leave those stuff to you.
Yeah, definitely. So, looking through the comments, by the way, Rachel Cruz there in the chat, and here comes Sebastian Vettel. Yes, indeed. Hopefully we might see some of that here tonight. May's there in the chat as well. TDB saying, oh no, not James again. Couldn't love you, buddy. We are hoping for top 20 today. Anything better is a dub. Interesting comments there from TDB, who, I may say, did watch, I think, the UEFA Women's Champions League last night. Clearly had better priorities than supporting his team in the Shazoo Racing Championship. But obviously, we are, I think, now good to go, because I've just seen that we've got all 20 drivers in. I think Payne has sorted out the pain of his internet, potentially.
Yeah, it was Justin who joined now for GSP.
Ah, okay, so it's Justin. So they didn't have a reserve driver, in fact. So Justin in as a late comer. So obviously Payne, I think, is unavailable potentially. He's there in the McLaren. Everyone is in, which means I think we are pretty much good to go. And I am going to give the go-ahead to everyone in the chat. And I will play the track map for you very soon indeed. As well, just need to send this message out to everyone on Discord. Trying to commentate and do this at the same time is a little bit daft, but there we go. Looking at the track map in question, the longest track on the F1 calendar, 7 kilometers in length, 4.3 mile, 19 turns, shaped like a dinosaur, and 2 DRS zones, of course, 1 down the start, finish straight in towards the source, with a lot of elevation change up the hill and through Eau Rouge and Radion, and then, of course, second DRS zone being down in towards Lake Holm. Ivan, this is Belgium. This is historic Formula 1 we are talking about here. They have signed, of course, a year contract as well in real life. This track is not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, and, do one stupid mistake here. Try to be disrespectful, let's say, to the track at some areas. You got yourself one-way ticket to the wall, or well, in these modern days, not to the Arden Forest, but never say never. And yeah, track that hosted the first race here back in 1925. So way back in the past, won by Antonio Ascari, a father of later F1 world champion Alberto Ascari. And yeah, as I said earlier on the stream, one of my favorite track in current F1 calendar, and classic track, despite some modifications through the past, obviously bus stop chicane in particular. Yeah, and doesn't forgive mistakes, and we'll see what will happen here.
Yeah, I think honestly, in terms of the track changes as well in real life, I think we are waiting for the drivers to get going. By the way, still in the lobby, we have now transferred over into the lobby. Though I can promise you that we are going to get action out on track very soon indeed. Hopefully, nobody is having to ready up. There we go. We've got all the graphics up on the left hand side. Just taking a little bit of a time to come up on my end there, but we are all good. And now 18 minutes of qualifying is about to begin. 20 drivers, of course, out on track here tonight. Looking through the chat, by the way, at TDB saying it was a banging match, I can tell you, James. Friday, we also have the Sidemen charity match. Well, nobody really cares about that, to be honest. But I've also been informed by TDB, rain is on the way. That's why you've seen a lot of flurry of cars coming out the pit lane early so they can get their lap in. I was having to actually do a double take. I thought it was raining already out on track, but it's not. It looks though very overcast, and if the rain is going to come, I would say it's in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, so let's say that outlap is here long around minute and 50. So our drivers won't have too much laps here before the rain hits. And combined with the outlap and the flyer lap, it's already you way past 2 minutes. And yeah, plenty of cars going out now. Yeah. Well, speaking about track layout, someone might say it looks like a dinosaurs, but to be fair, it reminds me a little bit more on some, I don't know, gun, a pistol. But yeah, Keke is the first man out of track in the Haspel LFR.
Yeah, he is indeed. Both LFR drivers, in fact, the first and second now, so clearly want to get their lap times in early, and I think they're going to clearly use that slipstream effect potentially as well out on track. Heki, of course, the first man out on track, along with Ruti in behind him. We'll go on board with both the laps as we go through the session, but as you can tell by the conditions, very overcast. I think the sun has now actually gone back into the clouds. Therefore, we are going to get rain, I think, very soon indeed. If not, it is already potentially falling out on track. I don't think it is, though. I'm on board with the hats, and it looks, honestly, like it's absolutely fine out on track still. Just looks very, very gloomy here in the Ardennes region, of course, in Belgium. Keke now coming through the final couple of corners on the run to the line. Yellow flags, by the way, just ignore them because it's just drivers preparing up for a lap. As now Keke on the run down in towards turn number 1. At least I can see turn number 1. It's not obviously blazing sunshine here through to the source at turn number 1. And then on the run down the straight in towards turns 2 and 3. And now this is the famous quote that I'm going to now channel. That's a Rouge, and that Radion actually coming at the top of the hill at turn number 3. DRS now, of course, going to be enabled down the Kemble straight. Dutch corner off the left-hand side there. Or naturally it would be in real life, as now Keke comes in towards the end of this first sector. Split to 29.8. Normally you'd be seeing 29.6s, 29.5s quite early on in the session, but Keke through the first sector, 29.6, not looking too bad at all. And that comes down the hill in towards Bruxelles corner, named after, of course, the capital of Belgium, which of course is Brussels, but given it the fancy name, it is Bruxelles. Now coming through X corner, formerly known, of course, as No Name, and then in towards Puorn, which of course marks the halfway point in this lap. And Keke so far has looked not too bad at all. Runs a little bit wide there coming through Puorn, but he's okay. So now comes in down in towards the Fania pass of the chicane, the Fania chicane, I think it's called, if I'm not mistaken. Campos coming up next through the right-hander of turn number 13. Looking like a very good lap, I've got to say, from Keki at this stage. 14.8 through the middle sector, not looking too bad at all. Again, times I think around half a second to a second off already in terms of what we would be seeing in natural blue sky sunshine conditions, as Keki now comes in toward the left-hander of turn number 16 or 17, actually, a blunt one, and then in towards the bust up chicane of turns 18 and 19. Ruti looks like he's gone a little bit quicker in behind as well. The other LFR man coming through the final corner though on the monster line with Keki, and he's going to set a 1:43 flat. I think Ruti though was quicker. Yeah, 2/10 quicker. Could already tell by the mini-map. 42.8 from Ruti, and he is now out on top. For now, Zaxolino goes quickest.
Yep. As meanwhile, Karafolidis goes into third, and now Gear of You 1-2 for NLR. At least for now, 142.787 for the second NLR driver tonight.
Yeah, really good lap time from Garufo. Axolino in second, Ruti there in third, and on board with Uppbeat coming out the middle sector. He's somehow purple, even though he's run so far wide. Thought he was actually going to break the track limits there potentially, but Uppbeat is on that for ETA. Still, I don't think not raining out on track. It's Garufo, Axolino, and Ruti currently the top three, but it just highlights now the importance of getting the majority, getting one lap in, maybe a multiple lap in here in Belgium, of course, as Uppbeat there comes to the final corner. On the monster line, he's going to be around about the time that we saw from Ruti, and Uppbeat there goes 6th, 42.9 in the end, around a 10th of a second off. It's Garufo out on top, Axolino second, Ruti there in third. Not driver, I don't think drivers are going for another lap. Maritz, is up toward the line. The what I was pronouncing there, 43.5 there for Maritz, and he goes into 13th, or sorry, 11th position. God, I'm all over the place. Bombastic's on the lap as well, coming through Lecom. As Bombastic is on the lap, he's coming down the hill through X corner. Looking quite good. Oh, he doesn't look good now. He spun the car. Bombastic round. QRT, unfortunately, now down toward the back end of the field. Justran, though, was towards the end of his lap. 15.7 currently. I think it is actually raining now out on track. It is indeed. It's raining out on track. Justran now to the line. 44.2. I could tell by that lap that it was definitely raining. Justran now down in 14th. And that potentially could be the end of qualifying, and it's Garufo for now out on top. It's Axolino in second, Ruti there in third. Drivers are going to have to make a decision now. Do they go out for wet running, if it's going to be wet in the race, or do they just go out and just give us a little bit of action out on track and time waste?
I think that depends on teams and their engineers, what do they have to say. I would say probably now they're starting to communicate the actions they'll take straight away after they finish their laps. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, Marlon is... Go on.
Sorry for interrupting there, but please don't mention the rain in the race, because right now I just got 1998 race start flashbacks after you mentioned the wet race start.
Well, at least, if that is going to happen, if we do have a 1998 scenario, potentially it won't end up as many drivers potentially injured or as many cars in the walls. So that is at least going to be one sort of comfort, I think, potentially out on tracks. One ball with Marlon coming to the right-hand return number one already. You can tell the track is greasy coming through the source. There is still a dry line though out on track, so Marlon is going to go for this run, I think. Bombastic at 2:01.9, he spun obviously on that lap, so that's not a really competitive lap from him. But Marlon having to lift off, coming through a Rouge and Radion there, now coming down the Kemmel Straight, not looking, to be honest, as if it's too bad on the first sector. If he's around a 29.8, it's still dry. And on track 29.9, has only lost a 10th of a second compared to what we saw with Keki a little bit earlier on. And Marlon, at this moment in time, flying through Lecom, still pushing on this lap. The rain is falling out on track. It's falling very lightly, though. So far, it is not affecting the track surface, at least in the first sector.
Yeah, could it be like this false rain, let's say? The rain that falls, but and you think it's actually over game more, that is actually affecting the track grip, and but it's not, and then you can still push. Maybe someone just got fooled by that, as a couple of them are going out for their second runs.
Yeah, Marlon's on this lap. It's 14-7 in the middle sector. This is not looking bad at all for Marlon. We saw it was Urpek, I think it was, with a 42.9, and he set the exact middle sector as what Marlon was doing. So Marlon is still looking quick. It is still dry out on track. The drivers might have to get one more run in before it actually does turn. Yeah, Marlon to the line, doesn't. He goes 8th in the end. A 43 flat comes to show. Drivers now starting up on a lap are actually going to be well and truly favoured, I think, by the conditions, rather than drivers who are still sitting in the pit lane.
Yeah, ZCN is finishing his lap pretty shortly. Going out of Boston chicane to the line. ZCN goes 14th.
0.003 of a second behind Slash there with that lap time. Tom's just started up on a lap behind him. Just trying to pick on board with anybody that might be on a lap. Bombastic, by the way, did improve on his lap. Ruti just got onto a lap as well. And Cow for Leaders has just started one. I've gone board with Ruti for now. He's coming through the end of the first sector split down the Camel Straight at this moment in time. Garufo out on top, Axelino on second, Ruti there in third. I think NLR might have a tactic as Ruti sets the first sector. 29.9 again in the first sector is not too bad. The rain is not affecting the track here. It is still falling, but it's very, very light. And looking in the distance there, going down in towards Bruxelles, almost looks like it's going to turn towards the dry end of the dry end of the weather towards the end of this qualifying session, which is unbelievable. Garufo out on top, Axelino on second, Ruti there in third, but Ruti ran so far wide at X corner. Don't know how that's still valid. He comes down through Puon. To look good. Kauflidis, though, invalid through the first sector.
Yeah, if we are struggling, I will dare to say, at least from Kauflidis' point of view, as the route is just invalidate out of Panya chicane.
Yeah, and the rain is beginning to fall a lot heavier now as well. Gillian Parker, by the way, not sure if she's got the wrong stream, potentially. She has said, good luck, Bunty, race like your usual demon-like self. Well, I guess he is a demon out on track, because we can't see him out on track. I think he might be in Premier 2, perhaps, in terms of the racing there. And that is why, I think, you don't get your mobby streams mixed up. But Garufo out on top, Axelino in second, Ruti there in third. And yeah, Bunty, unfortunately, has turned into a Ghost team in Premier 1. Might pop up, though, as a real-life human in Premier 2, as an Aston Martin, I think, is spun out of the middle sector. And I think that might have been Atlas on a lap.
Yeah, I think this is the end of qualifying pretty shortly, and everyone not improving, everyone bailing off into the pits, and I will dare to say this order will be our starting order for the race.
I tell you something though, Axelino's just gone purple in the first sector, 29.7 in the first sector from Axelino, and he's just invalidated as soon as I say that, coming out of Lacombe. On the run down and towards Bruxelles, invalidates too much on the outside curve on the exit, and Garufo still out on top, Axelino in second, Ruti there in third, Nuth towards the end of the first sector of the split as well, and he is a 30 flat, so it seems like the more that you go on through these drivers, the more they are tending to struggle now, potentially, but it's Garufo, Axelino, Ruti currently top 3, still 6 minutes I think to go in this qualifying session. Atlas as well, 30 flat in the first sector. It was Marlon I think who was actually spun, the other Aston Martin for VIR. But Garufo out on top, Axelino in second, Ruti there currently in third position, as Wizzy, by the way, is also supported. LFR there in the chat, TDB, P16 and P19, massive dubs. But that's what you get when TDB's not out on track.
Well, I think Grip is watching away, just watching, from watching news on board, as Morris now retired in the...
Oh, yeah. Atlas as well, I'm on board with him. He's 1.2 seconds down in the middle sector. Nuth out of the middle sector. He's looking quite quick, dare I say. Coming through the left-hand launch mode. Yeah, he is miles behind though, Nuth on this lap. He's going to be about maybe even 10 seconds behind on this lap. Coming through Vostok Chicane, Keki retires. That might be the end of qualifying. It certainly looks a lot wetter out on track. Nuth back in the pit lane there as well, was not on a lap. Yaron not on a lap. I think he might have just gone for an outlap, in fact, and is just about to start one. Yusbran is invalidated.
Marlon is on the outlap.
Yeah, Marlon on an outlap as well. YCN's on an outlap. Justin through the end of the first sector. Didn't quite catch his first sector split. Looked up there. Oh, how did he recover that? I do not know. Coming out of Lacombe.
as Ruti retired now.
That was a huge snap of oversteer from Justin Mikulicz. He's on lap 30.5. Yeah, he's down on the first sector. At least he can get a valid lap time in if he so wishes. Marlon, obviously, on an outlap. The ICN on an outlap. If I was on an outlap, I'd probably be coming back into the pit lane, to be honest, and just trying to bring the session early to an end. Mikulicz, 17 flat. In comparison, 3 minutes ago, we were seeing 14s through that middle sector. So that just comes to show how the weather has actually changed in that final sector and in these final 3 minutes or so of this session. Axelino now retiring, Garufo should retire as well. Mikulicz, though, still on board with him on the lap. I think he's going to go, obviously, bottom end 20th position, but at least he's still going to get a bad lap.
Game over. Qualifying is over. I was watching Bombastic on board, going through the kicks. The front end has literally no grip. Literally no grip at the front end.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he was 1600s down, maybe because he cut the track potentially for the first sector split. If he did, I'll rate him for that, to be honest. But Bombastic there down in 19th, just in 18th is just retired. YCN has just started up on a lap, 43.9, his current personal best. And he actually takes a Rouge flat out, which is the first time I've seen all night that YCN has done that. And in fact, any driver has done that. To the end of the first sector, YCN is 30.3. He's 800th down in his personal best, and if you take Lacombe, yeah, if you take Lacombe like that, you're gonna be not improving in terms of your lap time. Tom, by the way, is also on a lap as well as Mikulicz with 3 minutes to go in the qualifying session.
Yeah, I think I'll just the smartest thing to do for those guys will be to retire. Gerafune now retires. There's no point of running. You're wasting your time. You're wasting others' time. You're wasting our time, and you're risking that you do stupid mistake and crash. Let's say, and there's no point that you'll improve. There's no way you'll improve.
Yeah, I mean YCN is just fun coming through the Fania chicane, so obviously it is a lot wetter out on track. As soon as I say that, DRS has just been disabled. Yeah, Tom. Out there on track does look very wet. It still looks, I think, it still gives me the impression if it's still dry out on track, to be honest, the new graphics and everything on this game. But Tom out there on a lap, I would only say drivers could do a lap time potentially if and only if there was going to be wet running in the actual race. But with a minute and 50 to go, absolute waste of time. You may as well come back in the pit lane. Tom's going to go for a lap though. At least we've got to get some sort of action from the guys out on track. He's going to be about, yeah, YCN in, Mikulicz in, Bombastic should be coming in as well. So I think Tom is the only one that's going to grace us with his presence out on track. Jav, by the way, saying in the chat there as well, he might be 46 seconds off the pace. I doubt that, Jav. You're in Division 4 for a reason in League of Europe. And TDB as well, saying next race, I'll race just for you, Jav. Interesting. Are we getting a little bit of QRT, TDB, and Jav three-way going on for next week in Miami? Who knows? 30.6 in the first sector from Tom, 4/10 of a second down. He's not on the lap, and it's still raining out on track as well. As looking...
Tom is trying to get feel for the grip, I think. I don't know why he's doing this. Maybe he's trying to get a feeling for the track if the start will be wet, or like under light rain, so you can use slicks. Maybe that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I can only think maybe he is actually going for this lap because he's either a belligerent idiot and he's just wasting our time here in the commentary box and wasting everyone's time, and we could have been getting going a couple of minutes ahead of schedule. But I think he could be doing this for a potential reason as well. Oh, as he nearly crashed against the wall coming out of Stavolo on the run up toward Blanchimont. Tom obviously invalidated on this lap now. It'll be good though if he can obviously just corner cut, maybe across the grass, maybe where the hill area is on the right hand side. Give us some entertainment at least. Yeah, Bombastic's out of the session as well. Tom still continuing on. That was just silly, I think, to be honest, from the AlphaTauri doing donuts, and I think his team, dare I say, the stewards, if they're looking on, I know they are, I think they're not going to look too happy at that, to be honest. Yeah, he was around nobody, but do you really do donuts in qualifying? I don't think so. But we will run through the full grid order, and it's Garufo out on top. In the end, what was a very close qualifying session for the top 10. Only 0.3 of a second covering the top 10, but it's Garufo out on top. Axelino there in second. The Germans won too, with Ruti there in third. Did say watch out for him in the race. Nuth there in fourth, with Cavaliers in fifth. Zephyr there down in fourth and fifth. Urpek in sixth. Atlas in seventh. Marlon in eighth. Keki in ninth. And then your own ran off the top 10. And then everyone, I think, caught the second half of the weather, basically, in the second half of the field. Siley, Marit, Tom, and YS Brand top 15, and then YCN, Patterson, Justin, Bombastic, and Micheletti didn't get a valid lap time in, right down at the back of the field. As we now, of course, will transition into a slight advertisement break. You just see the conditions there out on track. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Yeah. Welcome back, everyone, though. Oh, goodness me. Welcome back, everyone, though, to EML Premier 1. I have just messed up the mic settings for my co-commentator, which is why I've got him on mute at the minute. There we go. I've sorted it out now. Hopefully you can all hear Ivan very nicely. Still waiting for plays, though. Looks like we're about to get going in the session, though, for Belgium. Very interesting qualifying session, though. Complete difference, though, to the race. Full blue skies and sunshine.
Yeah, and no matter if it's dry or wet, I think we could see carnage in turn 1. That is just became a trademark for Spa-Francorchamps in recent years because of white cards and tight start finish straight, let's just say.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting, though. Down in towards the source, of course, no formation lap ons. The 5 red lights are coming on here in Belgium. Round 4 of the championship about to begin, and it is lights down, away we go, and Garufo gets a good start. Axelino, although I think was better off the start, he might get the run in towards turn 1 on his teammate, but the NLR boys will filter 1 and 2. Nuth around the outside of Kaufalidis, in fact down the inside line, gets the job done. He's into third. Nuth was forced out wide as a result of the FDR boys. 1 up, 1 down, and Nuth is going all the way down the field into 9th, on 1 down in towards Rouge and Radion. Also side by side in towards Rouge and Radion as Maritz on the back of Silu. Around the outside he does, beautiful move around the outside of a Rouge, gets the job done. Nuth now right on the back of Urpek trying to get back up the field, and it's nearly like the Sebastian Vettel moment like we saw with the Ferrari and the Aston Martin side by side. Now Marlon on the inside line, surely going to dive it down the inside of Nuth, tries to get the job done. Everyone is clean through, though, coming through Lecom. McLaren force out wide there, Tom and Maritz are having a fight further down the field. Garufo leads the way, Axelino in second, Kaufalidis already in third. Kaufalidis though under a lot of pressure early on. Salih and Tom being forced down the inside line there, and now Salih gets the job done. He's into 13th, and Jasper, I think, is just trying to go around the outside of Tom, but he got the move done on Catterson. He's into 15th as well, with Puon now bearing down on our drivers. Garufo leads the way, Axelino in second, Kaufalidis in third. Through the first half of lap, but I've got to say, very, very clean start. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, indeed, as pretty much of old school racing, hard but fair, no stupid mistakes, no incidents at all. As now Schleichel is really close to Moritz for P12. Surely he won't try.
No, don't even dare go down the inside of Blanchimon. You're always going to make contact. And in fact, Tom nearly on the outside line of him. Justin picks up a 3-second penalty. Yerone forces the inside line now on Keki. I think that was a dive bomb into the bus stop chicane. So Yerone is through and he's into 6th. Keki might not be happy with that. He's coming back at him actually in towards turn 1 at the foreground of shot. And this is where all of the battles are forming as there goes Urpek down the inside of Keki in towards turn 1. Tries to get the job done. I think he's just about to come out on top of that, but the Haas man on the traction now side by side once again into a Rouge and Radion. Garufo, Axelino, Kaufali is still the top 3, and that is respectful driving there from Urpek. Didn't want to get the job done, but he's applying a lot of pressure to Keki, and do you know what? This is going to be job done. With now Marlon catching and making it a 3-wide scenario on the run down in towards Lecom. The Aston Martin on the back of the Red Bull, and the Haas and the Red Bull though still side by side in towards Lecom. The Red Bull goes all the way around the outside, and that's Urbex through, and he's into 7th for now, as Keki still tries to fight back, and all of this becoming a real cork in the bottle. Jeroen doesn't have the pace. Marlon run on the back of Keki now, around the outside of Bruxelles. Trying to get the job done. The Aston Martin around the outside of the Haas, trying to get the job done, didn't. And the Haas man holds on. Keki there in 8th, Marlon in 9th. Tell you what, already this is looking like race of the season. This is brilliant stuff.
Yeah, really great stuff. As meanwhile, Justin picked up the first time penalty of the race back in 19th place, now 20th. So, not a great start for the McLaren driver, representing the GSP team.
Atlas all over the back of Ruti, coming out of Stavel though. 82% of EOS that he's got underneath him. Ruti on the back, 67% of EOS. And Kauflidis is the one actually that is struggling in terms of the pace. He's got 67%, but he's already out of DRS range to the top two. NLR are working an absolute treat. They are leading the standings coming into tonight. They're leading by 7 points, I think, coming into tonight as well. And then they've got FVR 3rd and 10th, and in their back pocket at the minute, which I think is going to bore them with a lot of confidence. Kauflidis was nowhere even near getting the fastest lap of the race, and that was set by Garufo. Onto lap 3, onto the DRS now being enabled, and I think Ruti is going to potentially have the first go on Kauflidis down towards Lecom. You can see him using his battery all the way down to Rouge, and then through Radion. And we'll see now if Ruti can get a better exit coming out of Radion. He does. He only gains about 100th of a second. And he's not going to be close enough down the straight. And he's not going to use up any ERSs. I think, though, Tom and Maritza are about to go side by side. And in fact, they are, as Tom sails on by down into what they come. Through and he's into 12th.
Yeah, really great stuff as Kyle Cutterson, I think it is closing in on UCN, slowly but safely, in the fight for 16th place. Oh, but he's now really wide going into Bruxelles. So
yes.
He's in the
just ran round. Just ran round. I think he might have tried to go down the inside of Moritz potentially there. He was behind, I think, out on track. Just ran there down and out of the race so far. He spun. I think he made contact either with the curb or certainly with Moritz. And I think, honestly, it was probably the latter rather than the former. And Moritz just sliding slightly. I'm not sure if he's got maybe rear end damage on his car, maybe on the left side. Moritz there down in 13th now. Is YCN on the back of Sadu?
Yeah, I think. Or that could just be cold tire, hot rear, tires, and or maybe he really has damage because I don't think he's up to speed quite yet.
TDB said in the chat they didn't leave any space, so I think it might have been, as I said, the latter rather than the former in terms of Bombastic being forced up on the inside curb and then spun around. Of course, stewards might have a look into that one if they so deem necessary. Caston right on the back of YCN and towards turn number 1. That was very close. And also the Alfa Romeo in behind of Michelitti just ran wide there slightly. Still 6/10 of the lead though for the race. 6/10 of a second for the race lead. The Rufal leads actually known second. Kauflidis in third. And Kauflidis, he needs to up his pace big time here because he is on the back, and NLR, as I said on the couple of laps ago, they've got them in their back pocket at the minute. Sali through Maritz around the outside, didn't even see Maritz there on the inside line. Sali through, he's into 13th, and Caston through, he's into 15th as well, passing YCN in towards Lecom. As Jav also mentioned, I think in the comment section, probably one of the cleanest starts he's ever seen in league racing around here. I agree, as YCN now forces the inside line and Caston once again. Mediums against hard, you know which one I'd be on, and that is the mediums, because YCN's through and he's into 15th.
Yeah, the yellow flag, that's
Justin,
yeah.
That's out of Brussels, I think. That is no name. In fact, yeah, that's out of no name.
Jackie X corner.
Or yeah, X corner. There we go. Yeah, X corner. Give it his full name. Garufa leads the way. Axelino in second. Kauflidis there, currently in third. By the way, Tom and YCN, we didn't cover the strategies. Tom and YCN, if you didn't see, on that set of medium compound tires, Maritza's now spun coming through Stavolo. Yeah, it's the other GSP man of Maritza was spun coming out of Stavolo. Think it was on the inside curb, I think, again. And that is why he's gone round, and that's why he's lost positions as Patterson trying to go and tack around the outside of YCN. There goes Bombastic down the inside line there as well. Doesn't get the job done, and it's still 14th, 15th, and 16th for these guys. But yeah, unfortunate for Maritz, GSP having a nightmare of a start.
Yeah, as now 8 is closer to Ruti than he's to Karpolidis, as he has big snap of oversteer into Rouge. It's my screen.
Urpek on the back of your Rowan in the meantime. Sorry to cut you off. Urpek Thurney's into 6th position. I think Marlon's going to try and go for Keki in towards Lecom. He's not quite close enough though for the move. Catterson YCN having round 3 in the background as well. 14th and 15th position. But yeah, Urpek Thurney's into 6th. And Ruti, as you were saying there, applying a lot of pressure to Karofalidis, who looks honestly as if he's struggling. Ruti also struggling coming out of Bruxelles. He is spun, as well as Siley, who was also spun coming out of that Lecom.
Yeah, as I was saying, AT is closer to Rudy, and Rudy is actually closer to Karapolidis. So AT is looking at the first favorite to make a move in this train of cards.
Yeah, Aston Martin. Oh, as Karapolidis went so far out wide, coming out of Campos and then through Stavolo. And it's 0.5 of a second now, but what will it be at the end of this lap? Because Atlas is now charging on the back of Ruti, maybe looking to try and get the AA Yellow Pages out in terms of his parking manoeuvre into the bus stop chicane. That was terrible, I know. But Atlas on the back of Ruti in towards the bus stop chicane. Not quite close enough. It's going to be closer in towards turn 1. Look at the amount of VRS though. He's got 72% of VRS. And again, very high revs to try and minimise the traction on the exit of the corner in through turn number 1 at La Source. Still not close enough though. 75% of VRS. Ruti on 35%. Karofalidis on 44%. What are these guys thinking? Because Atlas is going to be through down the Kemmel Straight here.
Yeah, I think he will do it now as he went through Rouge and Radinion with ERS open. That's equivalent of trying to do a Rouge flat out with the on the beginning of 2000s when cars still didn't have that much efficient aero and couldn't take it.
Oh, YCN! Sorry to cut you off. YCN into the back of Bombastic. That was too late from YCN on the brakes. I think he realised that if I was his team boss, I'd be telling him to wait up and give all those positions back. Because that was not on, I think, from YCN. He just broke too late, missed his braking point into the back of Bombastic, and these two, once again, looks like they collide. And TDB, I am sure, in the chat, is going to be absolutely fuming as a result of that. Bombastic now down, QRT and GSP, both teams, along with Silu and Mikulitsi, who was still doing quite well. Obviously, Silu obviously spun. GSP and QRT have not had the greatest start in this race, as Atlas is still on the back of Ruti for that 3rd position.
Yeah, as the race calmed down a little bit than in the early phase, compared to the early phase of the race. Nothing really happening much, just cars following each other and trying to get in a good position to make a move. As also Marlon is closing in on Keke.
Yeah, Marlon is on the back of Keke in towards turn number 1, down in towards La Source, and now coming down in towards the Rouge and Radio once again. Still fascinated though by
Keke is derating already. Marlon could have him.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely easy, and if I was Marlon, I'd be cashing that check right to the bank. He's into 8th position, Keke there down into 9th, and there, Marlon doesn't move across in the breaking point like we saw with Bombastic, which has been mentioned there in the comment section. He did move across, but then again, it's the natural racing line going into the corner, so I can understand why he's moved across, to be honest. But then again, there's missing your breaking point, and then there's missing your breaking point, and I think that's what happened for me out on track anyways. Of course, the stewards will have a look at that one as we go through the race. Garufa leads the way, Axelino in 2nd. 0.5 of a second. Karofalidis, though, to be fair, is holding his own. It's 1.2 seconds. The gap is relatively stabilised, and in actual fact, I think Karofalidis now is beginning to catch as Marlon picks up a 3-second penalty coming through the Fania chicane. Karofalidis, a second away now. He's beginning to pick up the pace now, and the Greek man, I think, should have done this about 3 or 4 laps ago when the DRS actually came online, because he's going to be, unfortunately for him, still outside of a second, I think, in towards the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, but bigger problem for him is that NLR guys are playing it safely with the ERS. And and he almost already wasted his. And also, fuel indicator already turned on for Karapolidis, so he will need to take extra care of that, as this track is, really 7 kilometers long, and you can easily run out of fuel in the latter stage of the race if you're not careful. Well, I learned that from my personal experience in TML F4 last season.
I think we're going to see a swap for the lead here, perhaps, because Axelino now in the back of Garufo. We are indeed going to see a swap for the lead. NLR swap, Axelino through, and he's into the lead. Garufo there into second. And I think, honestly, that is probably the right thing to do, because Axelino looked quicker around that lap. Garufo there in second, Kauflidis there in third. This could do one or two things now. This could absolutely work in NLR's favour, or, for me, in perspective, if Garufo doesn't have the pace, Kauflidis does, as per that last lap. If Kauflidis has the pace on this lap, NLR are in trouble, and Kauflidis will be under a second at the end of this lap.
Yeah, but still in 1.1 seconds to prove on Kauflidis really using the DRS. It's actually, he's in a second, now, but he's always on the edge, but he cannot get into that area.
Well, I think he will, because Garufo, I think, just made a mistake coming through Campus Corner. Kauflidis, though, at Stavolo, to be fair, made a mistake as well. He needs to use up all of that battery, I think, to even get onto the back. And he is not doing that. He's another one that is, as you said, running that low fuel light. Garufo was, and I think that's why they ultimately swapped, because Axelino clearly has the pace in this race. Garufo there in second. I can only think NLR are going to put Garufo into the pits, set a medium compound tyres in a couple of laps' time. Axelino then goes hard, maybe to the set of soft strategy, and then NLR can try and consolidate that one too. But they're always going to be under pressure from Kauflidis, Ruti, especially Kauflidis, because look at the gap, it's a second now, coming down in towards Rouge and Radion, and I think he's just outside of it, coming through Rouge and Radion. He is indeed, he was just borderline there, as Atlas now is going to attack Ruti in behind, down the Camel Straight, easy as you like, the VIR man through, and he's into fourth, without even breaking sweat down the Camel Straight. Atlas through, and he's into fourth, Ruti there in fifth, and Nuth also passing Keki for ninth.
Yeah, as I think the reason NLR swap potentially could be that, as you said, actually Garufo is running low on fuel as well. The red indicator turned on his, the red fuel indicator turned on his steering wheel, and maybe they swapped for him to be able to lift and coast fuel and to save fuel easier, because Axelino will give him DRS on the Camel Straight and in other DRS zones, so it could be a little bit easier for him to save fuel, as he could not as he could lift and coast because of that extra speed he gets from DRS on the straights.
Kauflidis now, though, is within a second of the back of the NLR boys, and this is going to be crucial now for the FER man. What does he do from this point? He's going to continue on another lap at this stage. Of course, lap 10 out of 22. We should be seeing pit stop soon, in fact, as Marlon's in the pits and behind. Atlas sets the new fastest lap of the race, but Marlon, his teammate, into the pit lane. Of course, he's got a 3-second penalty. He's now going to go set of mediums. For me, 12 laps, maybe 13 laps or so, is probably pushing it slightly in terms of the mediums around here. But I've been proven wrong. Tom also in the pit lane as well for Team Ace, or Team Assay, whatever you like to call them with their new name. As, once again, NLR boys looking quite close in towards Lecom, not quite close enough. Urpek though on the back of Ruti, diving it down the inside line and towards Lecom. And that is how you get a move done in towards Lecom. Beautiful on the brakes. Urpek through, he's into fifth. Ruti, slight bit of slowness coming out of the corner there. But Urpek through and he's into fifth, and that was job done, as Marlon is at the pit lane in relatively clean air.
Yeah, he could gain a lot with that. And could play big first time as
Maritza's got an issue, I think. Yeah, Maritz, I think, has got an issue. Michalitzi's lagging in front of him. Has Maritz desynced out of the session? No, and he might be in the wall. He is in the wall. Right side impact damage on the car. Juspren was on his inside line. And I can only think that Maritz is desync with Michelizzi. That's what my thinking is around this. If that is the case, then I wish we actually saw that before the race actually started. And look, I mean, look at how the AI, he's either in AI or his car is just non-existent to Marlon. But then again, Marlon is having to react to this. He can see his car ahead, down the inside line to Stavilo, job done. So I can't really see what the point is, unless Marlon can't see him either. If that's the case, there is an argument that we can restart this race, but the halfway stage, I think, honestly, because I'm Robbie host, there was probably no point in actually restarting. We'll just continue this race at this moment in time. Maritz can see Marlon, because obviously he wouldn't have braked that early coming in, but Maritz into the pit lane, right side end plate damage on the car. Either internet issues there or potential desync there for Maritz, which is unfortunate, and as I say, I wish we saw it before we actually started the racing.
Yeah, Carafoli is closing in patiently.
Oh, you're rolling on the brakes! Sorry to cut you off again, Ivan. You're rolling on the brakes on Ruti. Ruti has fallen like an absolute stone through the field. Now down into 7th. Don't know how that's come about, because he was up there towards the front end of the field. You're on there up to 6th, though. Ruti there into 7th. Continue on.
Yeah, I just want to point out that Carafoli is closing in on Gerafio more and more, but also Atlas is closing in on Karafoulidis, and on both of them more and more. So we could see train of cars forming for the lead.
Yeah, I think Atlas, honestly, out of this front 4, apart from Axelino, who does look quicker than him, I think Atlas looks the quickest guy out of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That is for sure, because he's on the back of Karafoulidis. Karafoulidis is struggling slightly, maybe with the ERS study. His fuel light, though, has gone off, so he is doing the lift and coasting quite a lot out on track. And that is obviously saving them in terms of fuel. Garufa, though, in the meantime, still with that fuel light on. Atlas as well. I think he's never had his fuel light on in this race. Have we seen pit stops from the front too? Yeah, Garufa was in. Karafoulidis is in. Atlas all in.
As now Airpack moves into 2nd with him not pitting. Jeroen goes into 3rd, Ruti into 4th, Nut into 5th. I almost forgot FR had a 2nd try in here. It's a really quiet performance from Nut in today's race.
Garufa came out in between Karafoulidis and Atlas coming out the pit lane. That was...
Marlon.
Yeah, Marlon's running back to Justran.
Yeah, Marlon got some time, really big time here.
Right on the back of him, coming out of a Rouge and Radion. Now up the straight. Atlas is going to close in on Garufa, I think, as well. But Marlon gets the job done on Justran. Easy as you like. He's doing his into 11th, and he's got his teammate right up the road. This is coming now into VIR's favour. Whether or not Marlon can last to the end of the race, though, is a different thing. Still, Axelino to come in the pit lane, though, out of these guys. Karafoulidis, if he's quick on this lap, there is a big chance, because it was only around a 2nd off the back of Axelino before they all came in the pit lane. Karafoulidis pulling away now from Garufo. Garufo just hasn't got those tyres warmed up at all. Karafoulidis, just like that, quick as a flash on in terms of these tyres. And for now, at least, he now looks quick compared to Axelino. This could be potentially quite close, certainly if Axelino goes another lap.
Yeah, as we'll see what will Axelino decide in a couple of moments.
Surely in.
I think he's going in pit. Yeah.
He's in the pit lane, just revs it up on plastic. 3-second penalty, and Axelino, yeah, he's in the pits. Urpek in, Jeroen in, Ruti in, Nuth in. Call me Mystic James as well in terms of my prediction of around lap 11, lap 12. Garufa, though, on the back of Karafoulidis, looking interesting. I'm going to run above with Axelino, though, because I'm absolutely fascinated of where these guys are going to be coming out of the pit lane. Karafoulidis is passing the right-hand side on the camera. Axelino, though, on the inside line.
Clean. Yep.
He's ahead.
Clear.
By how far? If it's a 2nd coming down in towards the com, Karafoulidis is within DRS. Karafoulidis is in DRS. Axelino's got another half a lap to try and get on terms in that ERS, in terms of his tyres. Karafoulidis there in 4th has got a huge opportunity now taking this actual race lead. And I think now he needs to go for broke now rather than later on in the race. Because look at the pace he's got. Looking in towards Brussels. He could be right on the back of him, but I don't think he is. Axelino leads, Kaufalidis in second, Garufo there in third in terms of net positions out on track. It's still Slash and Caddison still leading the way. But if I was Kaufalidis, I would have absolutely acted on that, and I would have got the job done imminently.
Yeah, as also now VAR are in the play with the two of their drivers, with Atlas and Marlon really close to these guys after Marlon's pit stop and undercut attempt, with which he really gained lots of time.
Yeah, Garufo and Atlas are looking very quick now in this pack as well. Obviously, they've got the DRS, they've got more ERS as well.
Bad.
Justin. Oh, and it's VSC. VSC, I think he smashed his front wing. He has indeed. Justin has smashed his front wing. I think that's coming out of the Fanny chicane, unfortunately for him.
And Cutterson.
It will, but I think they're going to be in front of, I think, Uppbeat and Ruti coming out the pit lane, looking at timings, because just running in the pit lane, Slash out of his pit box. In fact, Uppbeat is already through, so ignore that. I think they're going to be behind now. Uppbeat, Ruti, Keki, Yaron, Nuth, they're all going to be through. So Slash actually is going to be behind his teammates and behind FER Nuth coming out of the pit lane, and he's outside the DRS range coming out the pit lane as well. Not ideal for Slash or Casson there.
Yeah, so now this will help Gero Fuel with the fuel saving, I will say, this virtual safety car.
Yeah, Axelino though, now he's slowed down. I was going to say, he's trying to get a jump start on everyone in terms of his pace. 9/10 of a second, it's now a second. I think we're going back green potentially here very soon. Axelino though, I wonder if he's got a different delta to everyone else, because they're sticking to Kaufalidis' delta in behind. Axelino could potentially get a freebie here. If he does, he might just win this race.
Yeah, as
Ooh, there's a lot of drive-thrus. Sorry, there's not a drive-thru. It's Caddison, yeah. It's only a drive-thru for Caddison. I don't know why I thought there was a load of drive-thrus just suddenly popped up on the right-hand side. They've all got 3-second penalties, so don't worry. Axelino, though, from getting a freebie, in the end, Kaufalidis has caught him out. It's 5/6 of a second. Garufo, though, all over the back of the Greek, and he's now going to not go around the outside of Blanchimont. No, he hasn't. Well, he has got the pace. I think he's just trying to consolidate maybe that third position coming through Blanchimont. Now it's the little subjugate. This is where he's going to be attacking on the outside line. Dummies to the inside line. Beautiful braking move. That's way too late on the brakes. It's Button in 2010. Cuts the curb. 3-second penalty. Maritz has done the same in behind as well. Actually in the lead.
Close to him.
Yeah, Alice all over the back. He's not going to be close enough in towards turn one. Garufo, I've got to be honest, it was Button 2010. Remember when, I think it was Hamilton and Vettel made contact and Button then went straight on at the safety car restart? That's exactly what happened now with Garufo. Atlas, though, all over the back of him.
Yeah, I think Garufo was a little bit impatient there. He definitely has pace, but I think he could wait a little bit more. Until Camel straight at least, or start very straight, as move could be there, could be completed there with not much of risk.
Yaron gets the job done on Keki. That was what my off was for there. He's thrown his into 8th position. Nice move down the inside line. I saw that a little bit late there, but Yaron thrown his into 8th. And to be honest, he's not entirely out of the top 5 here, because the guys in front of him have got a penalty. Catson obviously got a drive-through penalty. He's well down the field. But so far, as Garufo makes a mistake coming out of P1, this is Atlas's opportunity into the Fanny chicane. Going around the outside, the Aston Martin. Shooting going to leave him more room than that. The end alarm man pushes him onto the curb. And in the end, he gives up, I think, in terms of getting that move done. And to be fair, I would have done exactly the same thing, because otherwise, there would have been contact. And it lets now Kaufalidis up the road. Garufo is in trouble of dipping out of ERS range and DRS range to Kaufalidis, who is ahead of him. It's 9/10 of a second, and Kaufalidis realises that he's now on the power, on the ERS, and he himself is going to be out of DRS range to Axelino.
Yeah, Axelino is really pushing, really unlocking his pace right now, checking out here. But slap of 145.5 for Axelino now. I cannot even follow the lap times of fastest laps because they are getting beaten too quickly as Kiki gets another 3-second time penalty.
Atlas this time.
Axelino's got VRS. Atlas is getting this.
Oh, Atlas is going to get this move done down the Kemmel straight, down past Dutch corner on the left-hand side. Atlas through, he's into third. Garufo there down into fourth. So the VAR man, I think it's German, passes German potentially, as Michalitzi's left the session. Garufo miles out wide as well, and Marlon now can actually act on this opportunity down in towards Bruxelles. Not going to get the job done. Michalitzi, though, has left the session. Hopefully he can get back in before the race ends. I think he can rejoin. He's in a safe position to do so anyways in 16th. Axelino, though, Kaufolides, Atlas, currently a top 3. Still 6.5 laps to go, in fact, out on track.
Yeah, this race is going really quickly, to be honest, for the race around the track that is the longest in the F1 calendar. Once again, as I said a little bit earlier, on the same 7 kilometers long, a little bit over 7 kilometers, to be exact. As now Atlas is chasing Kaufolides.
Yeah, he is indeed. Third position there for Atlas. Garufo there in fourth. Just runs out of the session. That's out of Campos. That is out of Campos, and that's a safety car. It is indeed. It is a safety car. Out on track. What happens now? Axelino doesn't come in the pit lane. Kaufolides does. Atlas doesn't. Garufo is in. Uppbeat is in. This is absolutely game-changing for the rest of the race. Michalitzi, by the way, is rejoined. I think that's the best thing to do so with the safety car now out. Axelino leads the way. Atlas in second. Are they going to be picked up by the safety car? Yes, is the answer. Oh, and I think Atlas, I'm not sure if he's just went in the back of Axelino there. Look close, but I think he's okay.
Yeah, also Gerofio and Kaufolides went for softs, obviously. So did Uppbeat, Jeroen, Nut, Tom. I think we are having Hungary once again.
Having Hungary once again. I'm getting flashbacks to Belgium a couple of weeks ago, which I covered, I think, for WOR, and that was a mad race around there. And flashbacks as well to TTML F5 back in the day around here, which had 5 safety cars. Luckily, not on the shape and breadth of that, but Axelino leads the way. Atlas in second, Marlon in third, Ruti in fourth, Keki in fifth. Comment section. I'm going to come straight across to you. What do you think the soft compound tyres are going to do on this restart? Do you think they are going to be very strong off this restart? Or do you think, after a couple of laps or so, they are going to ebb away? Especially in the case of Kaufolides, Garufo, Uppbeat, Jeroen, everyone basically that has gone on to a set of soft compound tyre within the top 10. And Ivan, I'm going to exactly ask you the same question. Kaufolides, 6th position, set of soft compound tyre. Everyone else in that top 10, or halfway down the top 10 on that sort of soft compound tyre. Theoretically, they're going to be about 2 seconds quicker initially. Are they going to get through the pack that is ahead? Because they've got a 5-car train to get through.
Yeah, I think we had similar situation in the social race in the pre-season in TML with Nick Houston and Simply Superman, and I think Simply Superman has pitted for. I think that it was mediums at that occasion, compared to Nick Houston's hard, and so tires. Yeah, track is 7 kilometers long. It has variety of corners. It has longer periods of. It will depend how, if they're in contention for the win, how quickly they can dispose to LFR guys of Ruti and Keki, especially Keki, who is already on 6 seconds of time penalties. And he has his teammate in front, which has non-time penalties. And I think LFR could potentially play a team game here of Keki being a big man into Ruti, and Keki could try to defend a little bit harder for his teammate. But yeah, I think subs could last until the end of the race, as I think we'll have around a lap or 2 sprints.
Yeah, I think we will. Hopefully, by the way, the stream is back up. I can see it is, certainly on my end anyways. Apologies if we did lose a little bit of disconnection there. I think I'm out of lag potentially in the Discord, and that is why it caused my OBS just to go absolutely cuckoo instead of dropping frames there, which is the first time actually it's happened all night, which is really weird indeed. Axelino the leads the way, Atlas second, Marlon third. As you mentioned, 3-second penalties for Marlon, Garufo, Urpek, Bombastic, Silu, Justin, and Mikulitsi. They're all on 3. 6 seconds for Keki, and indeed for Moritz found down in 17th. And then that drive-through penalty, which you can't serve, of course, under the safety car, Catterson is gonna have to obviously come in the pit lane within. Does it get reset to the next 3 laps? Because I think he actually completed 2 laps before the safety car came out. So Catterson has basically got to come in on this restart, otherwise he'll get disqualified. That's what I'm led to believe anyways.
Yeah, I think that is the case, as the safety car could potentially go in this lap because the field has bunched up.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep, Axelino now the virtual Marmonder. He's now the virtual safety car, and with 4.5 laps to go here in Belgium, let me introduce you to the wacky racers that is now going to develop out on track, as it will be like that towards the end of this race here in Belgium. Axelino, Atlas, Marlon, your top 3. Whether they'll be your top 3 though towards the end of the race remains to be absolutely seen. Watch out for character leaders, watch out for Garufo and Outpack, all of the guys on a set of soft compound attire. 19 drivers battling for glory here in Belgium, and Axelino now trying to warm up those tyres. The medium guys know they need to warm up their tyres because those softs are just going to come online as a blink of an eye. And speaking of blink of an eye, Axelino goes into the bus stop chicane and has caught Atlas napping certainly into the bus stop. Marlon there in third, Ruti in fourth. They all filter through in single file, I think, coming through the bus stop chicane. And it's Axelino that leads on the exit, but Atlas has got a really good start as Marlon there in third. Ruti there in fourth. Carefully so far hasn't got Keki in towards turn number 1. Catterson though, drive-through penalty. He ignored the drive-through, and that is absolutely stupid in terms of a disqualification there. Catterson did not do anything wrong. Basically, as I said, 2 laps into the safety car, and therefore he had to come in on that restart, otherwise he would have been disqualified, and that's exactly what unfortunately has happened.
Not
close enough.
Closing in.
Not close enough in towards Lecombe. But yeah, back to Catterson. Honestly, I've seen some things in my time on the F1 game. That is about as stupid as I've ever seen a penalty being given on this game. In any other game, as California down the inside line on Keki, tries to get the job done. Nearly, and Justin Moritz changed positions further down the field. But California's in 6th. Needs to get the move done. Not in towards Puon, surely. No, he's looking to get the job done here. But yeah, Catterson, I can only feel sorry for him. I can only feel sorry for the ETA team. That was dreadful. And honestly, Codemasters, hang your heads. An absolute shame in terms of that penalty.
Made contact with KK, but he nearly lost the car. I know there was some spin as the Urpek is going down the inside of Campos on gear of fuel. Everything kicking in.
I tell you what, Jeroen's in for the fight as well. Yeah, Jeroen is in for the fight here as well. The relentless man on the back. Californius though was catching Keki in towards the bus stop chicane. Now coming in towards the bus stop once again. Side by side and behind the Peck and Carafrufo. But Californius around the outside of the bus stop chicane. Surely going to get this job done. The Greek man on the inside now for the bus stop. Keki on the outside line. Full step wide slightly. Beautiful move by Californius. That is him and his brilliant best. He's through and he's into 5th. He's cleared 1. Now he needs to clear 4.
Oh, but he went wide into Las Hortas. We have spinner.
Marlon has spun. Marlon spins out of turn number 1 at the source. So that is now 2 complete for Carafrufo. Third up on his hit list, Ruti, 1.1 seconds. These guys go a long way back here in Belgium. Whether or not they're going to be at the end of the day. Here comes Keki though, right on the back of him, coming in towards Lecombe once again. Keki on the back of Carafrufo, not giving up this fight. Carafrufo though holds on for 4th. Jeroen there on the back of Garufo, everything now settling down once again. Final 2.5 laps here in Belgium.
Yeah, as Bombastic made a move on ECN for 12th place. As also Atlas is keeping Axelino within his range.
Here comes Carafrufo though, it's 9/10 of a second. It might seem like a big gap at this moment in time. The way he's just taken 2/10 of a second out of Ruti and Atlas means his tyres are on. And speaking of on, Garufo down inside of Keki. Yeah, tries to get the job done. He gets caught on the curb though. And holds on to the position, Keki in 5th.
Now this plays into Jeroen's hands. With him being really close to those two ahead.
In fact, I think it plays into everyone else's hands, to be honest. Jeroen right on the back of Rufo, not using up that ERS. Jeroen, though, is, and he's catching quickly in towards Blanchimont. Down the inside of Blanchimont. Now around the outside. This will be brilliant from Jeroen. This has been set up around the outside. He goes on two of them. Round the outside. Jeroen gets the job done through the bus-stop chicane. That is the best move I think I've ever seen around Belgium. Relentless, tip your hat off. Garufo now side by side with Keki in towards turn number 1. Jeroen, though, through into 5th. And Garufo and Keki still side by side through turn number 1, and they're side by side now down in towards Erosion Radion. This is going to be now tense between them both. Keki comes out on top, Garufo has to hold on. But Jeroen, can I just talk about that for a second? That was absolutely incredible. Round the outside of 2, Garufo by the way backed off, and now we've got 3 wide down in towards Lecom.
Airpack using a bit.
Oh no, this isn't going to end well.
From here, no, 3 wide.
How?
Yep.
How have they not spun?
But look at Carpolides on the route. He's closing in like
Newt in the background's off. Oh my goodness me. Taking a toll on my voice, this race is. Oh, Axelina leads at the 2nd, Ruti in 3rd, Carpolides in 4th, Jeroen in 5th. Looking at the chat, Slicer's saying business as usual for him, and Harley saying as well, what a move. And I think Jav might have just got very, very wet as a result of that relentless move there up into 5th. Carpolides on the back of Ruti. It has been an absolutely marvellous Belgian Grand Prix. Yes, we had that safety car. Yes, we've had a few moments. This is maybe the race of the season, though, at this stage. And still, we've got a battle for the lead, because Atlas, 57% of ERS, Axelino, going to be around the same point, I think, into the bus-stop chicane. He tries to get away. And if I was Atlas, I'd think about going for that move as Keki and Opek side by side on the Blanchimont.
Oh no.
Into the bus stop.
Or maybe he hasn't. Oh, this is close.
Garufo now running the act as well in towards turn number 1. Final 7 kilometres of the race about to go. Ruti's through, he's into 4th. He's through, he's into 4th, but Garufo down the inside and both of them through La Source. Gets the job done. That is unbelievable. And now it's 3 wide in towards Erosion Radion. More banging wheels between Keki and Erpek. And now Garufo is the one that is boxing them in and through Erosion Radion. That's marvellous from Erpek. And now he's going to try and get another one in towards Lecom. This is unbelievable. Erpek on the back.
He had this easy.
I don't know. Garufo's going to hang it on the inside line.
Race over.
Yeah, Atlas penalty, Garufo, Erpek. Oh, Erpek spun. Erpek spun, outside curb. Keki's also gone for a spin. I think there was contact in his incident. I think, though, Erpek spun on the outside curb. Now they go inside of each other. That's not a great look. Axelino leads the way, Atlas 2nd, Carpolides in 3rd. Final half a lap to go. My voice is gone.
Yeah, as Carpolides and Jeroen, if he managed to overtake Ruti, could potentially get a podium here for FR and Relentless.
Perfect round coming out of Puon. That's unfortunate for him. Atlas, game over. He might get that 3-second penalty removed. They normally don't remove 3-second penalties, unfortunately, for the VAR boys. But Axelino, in the end, that swap, by the way, for NLR on lap 8 of this race has proven absolutely critical. Garufo all the way down in, where is it, 6th position. Axelino towards the line, though, is going to win here in Belgium. Axelino to the line, wins in Belgium. From Atlas there in 2nd. Carpolides, though, will pick up 2nd, as will Ruti for 3rd. Great drive for them all. Garufo to the line in 6th. He'll be dropped down, I think. Tom, Sardi, Bombastic. Yeah, Slash moves ahead of Tom, Sardi, and Bombastic with penalties. Mikulitzi in 11th. Moritz there in 12th. Keki in 13th. Justin 14th. More position changes. YCN didn't pick up any penalties. He's there in 12th. Erpek 16th. And then Nuth to the line in 17th. He's spun. He lost his foot wing, in fact, and Marlon to the line. And I think he's just banged in the new fastest lap of the race there, has Marlon, right at the back of the field. That is the Belgian Grand Prix over and done with. That was an entertainment as I've never seen it before. Bombastic gets throughout of the day. These TDB can celebrate something for QRT here tonight. But out on top is that man there, or you'll come onto your screen very soon indeed, will be this man here. NLR man, dominate. NLR in the end, I think 1st and 6th or 7th, I think, in the end. It is Axelino, though, to the top step of the podium, and NLR, brilliant driver, plenty of support there for the guy in the chat as well. But Axelino out on top, NLR out on top, and they hold, I think, their championship lead going into next week.
Yeah, Axelino with back-to-back wins in Canada and now here. Really great drive, but I have to say I must disagree with the game's driver today. I'm already disagreeing with that.
Many different driver of the days I think that could be given potentially. It is, though, Axelino out on top. We'll run through the full grid order now. Axelino out on top from Kaufelius there in second. Ruti there in third. Atlas in fourth. My driver of the day, though, goes to that man there in fifth. And 10th on the grid, Yaron up to, in the end, 5th position. With what was probably one of the most marvellous moves I think I've ever seen coming out of Blanchimon and into the bus stop chicane. Finished there in 5th. Garufo there in 6th, Slash in 7th, Tom in 8th, Sardu in 9th, Bombastic top 10, Mikulitzi, by the way, 20th up to 11th, so maybe they could have given Drive of the Day awarded to him. YCN there in 12th, Maritz in 13th, Keki 14th, Justin 15th, Urpex 16th, Nuke 17th, Marlon 18th, but still going. Marlon, by the way, did pick up fastest lap of the race as well for VER. YS Brandon 19th and Caddison, the only 2 DNFs out of this race. Actually, another out on top, Kaufelius in 2nd, Ruti there in 3rd. And that, I don't know what we've just witnessed there in Belgium.
I really don't know, but it was a really good race. One of the best of the, and the most clean race of the season until this point. And yeah, my driver today, I have to agree with you. Your own hats off to you, mate, if you are listening to the stream. Really great drive from P10 to P5, almost getting the podium. I think far from 4th as well. And pulling that move out of nothing on the restart. I really like this track. I knew to pull some good moves around here, or on some other tracks, but I've never seen something like that. Never in this competitive level of league racing. Never. So my driver of the day goes to your own as well.
Yeah, marvellous move. And Urpex move, by the way, as well, down in towards turn number 1 at the source. That was unbelievable as well. I think it might have been induced, though, by a little bit of contact on his left-hand side in towards turn number 1. I'm sure that will be picked up maybe by the stewards at the end. Next week, though, we go to the States. We go over the pond from Belgium and now to Miami for round 5 of the championship. What can we expect from a track like Miami? Because I've commentated on this game around Miami, and I've got to say, if it's good, the racing around there, it's normally brilliant. If it's not, could be worst race of the season.
Sounds like some wannabe Monaco street track that we recently got in the F1 calendar. And yeah, I really don't know why. I'm not a very big fan of the track, and over expanding to the States, I would say, but that has nothing to do with it. Never driven that track, didn't drive that track really much, and it has some flow in the corners, but yeah, I don't like the track, and I think we could be disappointed after the race like this. Compared to this, I think Miami will be pure lullaby.
Yeah, Miami, I think, could be pure lullaby. I think there's going to be a few more safety cars than this week in Belgium. If that was worse, though, Japan potentially could be even worse on the 12th of October, which is in 3 weeks' time. Of course, more action to come, though, for TML tomorrow night for F1 and indeed for F2, 8 p.m. UK time, of course, for F1 and F2. We do go to Belgium, of course, this week as well for those races. F3 and F4 then on Friday, all at 8 p.m. UK time. So you can watch that. Premier 2, I think, has just ended or is ending now in terms of their live stream as well, in terms of their racing. Brilliant, though, racing here out on track tonight. We, as I say, are going to be in Miami next week. of course, sponsored by Next Level Racing, as always, here for Esports Masters League. A big thank you, though, to Mr. Ivan Tonchik for joining me in the commentary box, as always. Very tough, given that my voice was not at 100% tonight. Don't know what's wrong with it. Hopefully it'll be fine for tomorrow. If not, you might just have to have a silent stream for tomorrow. But hopefully it was good. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and hopefully you are going to like, comment, subscribe, take that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We are done then for tonight. Big thank you to everyone that tuned in. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time,